Hi friends, Evolving Guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for following along with our collection journey. Today is an exciting day. It's always exciting when there is a new set release. And today we are breaking into half of the new set that has come out. Actually, it's two sets. It's kind of this first time thing for Pokemon. They've released the two sets, Black Bolt and White Flare. They came out on the same day, same release. Parallel products. Some products have both packs inside. Some products only have White Flare or Black Bolt inside. And so what we're going to do is we're going to break up our Master Set Monday into different pieces. Today we're just going to do White Flare, and then next Monday we're going to do Black Bolt, or maybe it'll be Wednesday. Anyway, check the channel to see when I post those videos. So anyway, what I have here is an ETB. We're going to talk through what's inside. And then I also have one of the what are called the poster collections. It's really large, so it's kind of hard to see the whole thing. There, we'll back up a little bit. Got the poster collection, which has 5 packs. The binder collection, which has 5 packs plus the binder for White Flare inside. So we're going to open those two things today. Those are the two exclusive White Flare products that released on July 18th, which was the release day. The poster collections, we will open some of those on the channel. Those have both sets of packs inside, and also the mini tins that released have both packs inside. And so those are the products, as far as I know, those are the products that released on the 18th. So you've got the ETB, the binder collections that are respective Black Bolt, White Flare. You've got the poster collections, which have some packs of each, and you have the mini tins, which have some packs of each inside. So that's what's available now. There's going to be more products rolling out. This is a special set. It's not a full main series set, so there are no booster boxes. There are no individually sleeved packs that you can buy. There's a limited set of products. This is kind of like Prismatic Evolutions or Paldean Fates or sets like that, Scarlet and Violet 151, for example. So without any further ado, we are going to rip into this. Now, it is actually already ripped, and that's actually because, and I've talked about this in the past, there's different ways to get products. I'm really curious in the comments if you can talk about your experience finding these sets. I think for me, I mentioned before that I have a local sports card shop in my area, and they also sell Pokemon cards. Their number one thing is sports cards. But they have a deal on release day where if you let them rip it in front of you at time of purchase, that they will charge you basically MSRP. If you want to keep it sealed, then they'll charge you market price. And so this really is meant to discourage scalpers, especially on release day, of people just buying it in their store and then turning around and listing it online. And I think it's a pretty effective system. Going forward, they charge closer to market price for things after the initial release. And sometimes, market price could be lower, sometimes it could be higher, but then what we might expect. But in any case, the plastic was ripped by the store as I purchased it, but that also means I got this for MSRP, which is really exciting. I know stores really vary in how they treat this, so I'm excited. I do have some other product that I was able to secure, but this particular ETB that I'm opening today was from this particular card store. So with the ETBs, as you know, you get you can get the player's guide, which is really handy for a lot of people. I like to collect one each player's guide. I have player's guides going back almost as far as they have ETBs. And it's going to tell you a little bit more about some of the game mechanics, some of the cards that might be new related to the TCG. And then after that, it's going to have a set list starting with card number 1, and it's going to show you. So some people like to keep these just for their collection as a memento of the set. Other people like to actually use this and check off. They do have check boxes next to each card, so you can keep track of your collection. So I did a quick look. I'm not I'll get to more familiar with this set as we open some. But these sets are interesting because they are mini sets, but they're actually not that small. There are only 86 cards in the main series set, so that's relatively small for a set these days. And that's, in parallel with some of the other sets that we've had recently, some of the specialty sets. But what makes this set different is there are a humongous number of secret rare cards, and those are the cards that are numbered after the regular set number ends, so you have up to 86. This goes all the way up to 170 cards or so in this set. And the first 70 cards are illustration rares, and that's really the big thing here, is that there's an illustration rare for every Pokemon from, I forget, one of the generations this is featuring, and so this is going to have tons and tons and tons of illustration rares. I expect that in the long run, most of these illustration rares are not going to be very expensive, so I wouldn't get too much FOMO, and don't pay singles prices right out of the gate. Give it some time, let these cards come down in price. I really think by the end of things, most of these cards are going to be in the same price range as illustration rares from other sets, which is between like $5 and $10 for most of them. So I would say hold off on your FOMO. I mean, open some. If you hit some, that's great. I imagine that hit rates are going to be pretty solid. I haven't seen too much documentation of hit rates yet because people are just opening product now. This does have a few ultra rares and a few special illustration rares, so it does have those, like Prismatic Evolutions was weird because it only had SIRs. It had ultra rares but no illustration rares. This has all three of those variants, but just it has 6 SIRs and 6 ultra rares, and then it has, I think if I'm correct, 70 illustration rares. So that's going to be the bear to collect this. But again, if most of those cards end up being around $5 to $10, that's actually pretty manageable. Already I checked prices before I got on recording here, and there's only 2 cards in White Flare above $100 already, and it just came out, as of recording. I'm recording this on Saturday, the 19th. This set has literally been out for like 24 hours, and there's already only 2 cards above $100. Now that doesn't count these Victini and Reshiram cards. Now these ones aren't even listed in TCG Player in the master set list, which is kind of funny. I don't know what to call these cards. There probably is some sort of name for them. You can see that the rarity symbol is different. It's got like the one black and the one white star. And so those are definitely the chase cards in this set. Those are going to be much over $100. But as far as the other cards in this set, the ones we're looking at here, there's only 2 over $100 right now. So anyway, that's a quick overview of White Flare. Hopefully I get to open a lot of this. I think it's going to be a fun set to open. Again, like I said, I feel like pull rates are going to be solid. You're going to, feel like you're getting a lot of good cards. They also have the Pokeball reverse holos are back. They were in Prismatic Evolution, so that's also pretty exciting that you're going to get those as well. So I feel like between all the illustration rares, between the handful of chase cards, and between the Pokeballs, I hope it feels like a better experience than, say, Prismatic, where you're really chasing. There's no illustration rares. The ultra rares are low value, and you're really chasing those SIRs, which are really hard to come by. So you do get the packs. Let's pull these out. This is my first time handling White Flare packs, so it's pretty exciting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 packs, as we would expect in a regular ETB. And we'll set those aside just for 1 second to see what else is in here. You do get the sleeves as you would. Again, you can decide. I think Black Bolt, my sense is kind of out of the gate that people are more excited about Black Bolt than White Flare. So we're kind of starting with the underdog here with White Flare. So you get the 65 card sleeves. Again, quality of these sleeves is not always amazing when it comes to like playing with them. I mean, I'd probably recommend a Dragon Shield or some sort of a higher quality sleeve if you're playing competitively. Oh, that is a new pattern on the energies, which is pretty cool. They change up the pattern on the energies once in a while. So this actually looks like old school. This particular kind of 3 pointed energy pattern is what that takes me back to, like XY maybe. I don't know. This goes back further. So that's pretty cool. You do get, of course, you get the condition markers, you get the damage counters and the dice, although unfortunately it has the EX on it and not the symbol. Again, we don't do set symbols anymore, but I don't know. I like the older dice that had the set symbol on it. And then last but not least, you do have, they have been lately putting the promo card in with the card dividers, which is good because it protects it a bit better than just having it loose. Some people might want to keep this whole package sealed. I do want this promo for our promo card binder, so I am going to open it. And I can understand if you wanted to keep it sealed. Hopefully it's in good shape. So you do get you get these guys, which I actually use those just to keep my cards organized. There's the code for you, and yeah, here's the Tornadus. You can see it is Scarlet and Violet 210. It's a Black Star promo. This one, yeah, so this will get sleeved up and go in our promo card binder. All right, so without further ado, let me just make a little space here. So this will be our first opening of White Flare. Again, I really hope, my sense was on opening day, I visited several card stores. I think we're in a world now where there are going to be lines on release day. It used to not be the case where you could just show up on release day even later in the day and, you would find stuff. But these days, you really do probably have to line up. And, some people might not want to do that. Some people might not be able to do that. Releases are usually on Fridays, which is obviously difficult if you have any sort of job that doesn't have flexibility where you can be waiting in a line at 9 or 10 or 11 a.m. And, depending on the store, I've had a few store owners say that, people are getting there pretty early, although I was okay just to get there a little bit before open. And find at least some things. One store had plenty of product. All right, we've got the reverse. We've got the second reverse, and we do want these reverses. These are just regular reverses, but I think the Pokeball reverses are in this set. Hey, and we got a hit, a Whimsicott EX double rare for our very first pack, so that's good. We're going to need, again, we build master sets on this channel, and so we're going to need every single card, so even these commons and uncommons and just normal reverse holos, we're going to need all those. We got the new energy card, which is cool. And then I'm giving away the codes again. I used to sell the codes just for a little bit of money on the side, but those days are gone. They're like so worthless, beyond worthless. So if someone can take advantage, if someone can use that code, then more power to you. All right. So anyway, for me, I started at the sports card store where they rip things in front of you. I got there about 45 minutes before open, which I don't love to admit in some ways that I got there early to wait in line, and I was definitely not first in line, but I was far enough up in line that I was able to get one of each product. And they actually split up. I thought this was interesting. This sports card store split up the release. So White Flare was on Friday and Black Bolt was on Saturday, so they weren't dealing with all products at one time. And so that does, like, on one hand, it maybe stinks because you have to go back twice. Second reverse, that's a cool illustration. Oh, nice. A Keldeo EX. This is an ultra rare, so not maybe one of the super craziest cards, but we've got 2 packs and 2 hits. An ultra rare is great to pull. Keldeo EX, very cool. So we'll add that. We got that cool energy, and there's the code. So anyway, the first place, like I said, I got there a little early, but I was up enough in line. They had a good supply. I was able to get one of everything of just White Flare. So again, keeping in mind they were splitting the things. Then I went to a different card shop that opened a little bit later. They also had a line forming. In that place, they didn't have as much supply, and so the ETBs went very quickly. Actually, after the first 2 families that were at the beginning of the line, the ETBs were gone, so that was not going to be... Oh, there's something peeking out. Ooh, I think it's one of the... Oh, that is cool. This is my first time seeing. You can see it's very different than the Pokeball reverse from Prismatic. Sorry for the shadow there. I'm trying to hold it. That's very cool. And just something different, so that's kind of fun. I'm definitely going to count that as a hit because we're going to want to collect... Ooh, and that is a cool pattern. Look at that. Wow. Is this just the regular rare pattern? That is really cool. Just the regular holo rare. That is very different. That is very cool. So yeah, maybe they did mix some things up for this set. That is pretty cool to see that way. And there's the new energy card, and there's the code card. So that's very cool. And we're going to need that. Again, we need everything to start. So anyway, the second card shop I went to is more of a Pokemon card shop, and they had more limited supply, which is kind of odd. The sports card store seems to get a much better allocation than some of the actual card stores in my area, which I can't explain that. But anyway, like I said, the ETBs went quickly. They still did have some products. I ended up with them, and they were limiting to 2 items per person. And even with those limits, I was able to walk away with a mini tin and a poster collection. There's a regular reverse. Oh yeah, that's another. Yeah, it looks like they just have this new holo rare pattern. You can decide if you like it. It just is very striking. It's very cool. Yeah, I like it. So that was kind of my 2 line experiences. I checked a few other stores. I actually found they had supply at Barnes & Noble. There's a Barnes & Noble in my area. They had stuff. They were limiting it to 1 item per person, which is fine. They had no ETBs, but they had poster collections and binder collections. I went to one of my other local card stores. I did have a pre-order in at a couple card stores, not everything, but I was able to get some. So I kind of pieced it together between waiting in line a couple times, between just hustling around to a few other places and having some pre-orders in. I definitely, I don't know, it was kind of a mixed bag in some way. Oh, look, that's cool. So we have the we have the regular rare, what we used to call the holo rare. We have these cool like energy pattern cards, so that's cool to know that, wow, there's a lot going on in this set. I can see that these are going to be really fun to open because there's so many possibilities. You've got even just the regular rares look cool. You've got the energy cards. You've got the Pokeball, reverse holos, and then, of course, you have all the other cards that you're chasing. The illustration rares, the ultra rares, the SARs. There are no hyper rares in this set, but then, of course, there's the Victini and Reshiram cards that are where everyone is going to be. I don't know if you call those like super secret rares or something. I don't know. They're just hiding in the way back of the set. So it'd be great to pull one of those, of course. So there's another of the Pokeball. You can kind of see that's very cool. We'll count that as a hit. I think like with Prismatic, we wanted to build a master set of the, oh nice, Jellicent. Now we got a double rare. I got another one of those shiny. Is that a shiny energy? Actually, that's not. It's so funny. It's like hard to tell under the camera. That looks shiny. So we got another double rare. That's good. We've gotten 2 double rares and an ultra rare. And we have 3 packs left. So it would be disappointing not to pull an illustration rare from these 9 packs. Like that's what, there's 70 of those. So it'd be great to get started on that journey. It's obviously going to be it's a long haul. It's a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to collecting all those. But it'd be nice to start with one of them. Of course, with only 9 packs, like if we pulled anything more rare, like an SAR or one of the like super secret rare cards, like that would be like amazing, but we can't expect that. But out of 9 packs, I would sort of expect 1 illustration rare. Oh, nice. And speaking of, where it is, there's our illustration rare. You can see it's got the single gold star. We got Sawsbuck. All right, probably not one of the like most desirable, but I bet many of these are going to be super awesome looking cards, even if in the end they're only going to be worth like $5 to $10. So, and Embor. Oh, that's cool. This has extra like flameage on there. There's the code. Yeah, so there's a lot going on in this set. I can really see the appeal. This is going to be a lot of fun to open. So I hope that supply is strong. I do think it will be. I mean, I don't know. On release day, on one hand, I think we're just living in a world where the demand is so high that even if supply is strong on release day, you're still going to be faced with lines and maybe stores running out of product. But and I don't know, we'll see if this is the kind of set that disappears off of store shelves like Prismatic or 151, or is this something, or Destin Rivals for that matter, or is this going to be something, are they going to print it in such high amounts that it's going to be, at least in the long run, hopefully at least like possible to find. I don't want to say easy to find because I think with how high demand is, and I think most of the demand is legitimate. I think there are a lot of people who are collectors, who are new in the hobby. I think, there are scalpers and resellers. There's another of the shinies. That's cool. So I'm definitely going to want to kind of collect a master set of these as well. All right, we're down to our last pack. I think we've done well. We've gotten 1 ultra rare, 1 illustration rare, several double rares, and several Pokeball reverses. So I feel like you got to be happy with that. Again, like I said, if you pull anything better than that, that's going to be super bonus. But but I think I'm hoping that this opening experience is going to be really positive, and then the question is going to be, is supply going to meet demand? I mean, hopefully it gets to a point if they really are pumping out supply so much that it discourages, third-party sellers out of the hobby, and then it's just left. I think there is just still high demand, I think, from collectors to open this set. But honestly, I think this is going to be a set that's going to be a blast to open, but also just keep in mind that if you're patient, that's cool. We got 3 of these as well, so that's pretty solid. And nothing, I mean, we're going to need all these cards for our set. So that was our yield from the ETB. Nothing super, super crazy. But again, I think if you're just looking for shiny cards, this set clearly is like loaded with them. So now we're going to rip into this binder collection. Like I mentioned, I also got this from that card store, so they actually did the hard work for me of opening it. So I'm just going to pull it out here. Drop that down. All right, we'll come back to the packs in 1 second. There's not enough space in my little area here. So first we'll just zoom back out. You do get this really cool binder, white flare. So it's not the highest quality when it comes to like your card collection. I mean, I put my stuff in Vaultex binders, and actually Vaultex, I don't know if they're still available for pre-order, but they had a window for pre-order open. They were making specialty binders for this set. You can get either just separate binders for white flare and black bolt, or they actually had a really cool combined binder that was large enough to accommodate all the cards from both master sets, and it had both. It was two-toned, and it had the white and black coloration on it. And so if you can still pick up those Vaultex binders, I would recommend it. These binders I'm not going to use. I'll probably actually just resell these. So they are cool to see, but I don't necessarily going to use them. And then you also get the 5 packs, so we're going to pull them out of here. Oh, and this also has, this actually has a card list, so it kind of makes sense that you've got the binder, you know, the card list that comes with the binder. So if you do want a card list and you don't want to mark up your player's guide, if you do happen to get an ETB, you can use this. Again, it's funny. Oh, there is the Victini and the Reshiram. They have this different set symbol, or this different rarity symbol. I don't know what that is being called. I'll have to check that out online. All right, and then we get 5 more packs to open. So we'll open a total of 14 packs today, which is, again, like, I don't want to complain at all about that. I think that is definitely a good start. But I was saying, I feel like this is a kind of set where, you know, if you can find packs for MSRP for a good price that you feel good about, then it's probably going to be totally a fun pack opening experience because of all the stuff inside here. But also, I think it's going to be a set that it's going to be hard to, it's going to be impossible to master by just like ripping packs. And I do think prices on singles will come down quickly. And if you wait long enough, I think this actually will not be, I was really encouraged, like I said, when I looked and saw that there's only 2 cards in this set worth more than $100 already. So that's a good sign that prices are going to come down. There's not going to be any super crazy chase cards except for the Victini and the Reshiram. And even the most expensive card was in the 100-ish dollar. Or no, there was one that was $277. I think the Reshiram EX SAR. All right, so nothing in that. There you go. But besides that Reshiram EX SIR as the chase card in the set, I think everything else seemed pretty affordable. So I think this is going to be, actually, maybe it's going to be possible to master this set, which is exciting, and probably just by buying singles. So I don't know. I'm going to open what I have on hand, and I'm going to see, just keep my eyes out and see. I'd love to think that supply is going to meet demand, and there's going to be able to get these products at MSRP or near MSRP. There's something, yeah, you can feel that. It's got a very slidey, sort of smooth texture on it, so that's cool. So we're definitely pulling these like, oh, nice, and another illustration rare, so that's good. Patrat. So good, yeah, there's 70 of these, so they're going to be hard to pull all of them, but any that we can pull to start is going to be helpful. And then there's that new, and then another one of those cool. Yeah, so you can see here, just in that one pack, we had a Pokeball reverse. We had an illustration rare. We have even just the regular rare has this cool texture to it, and then this. So there's a lot of shininess happening in this set. So I can see that it's going to be fun to open. So like I said, I feel like I'm hoping that supply is going to meet demand. It's going to be possible to get product at MSRP, and that so you can open it when you want to, but that also if you're going to try to go for a master set, or if there are particular cards in this set that you want, that they're going to be relatively attainable to just buy as singles once this stuff is opened. And you know, if supply is meeting demand on the sealed side, then it also is a good sign that there's going to be a lot of people opening this set, which means that single price singles are going to be available, which is also, there's another one of those. That's cool. We've done really well with the Pokeball reverses. Oh, and another illustration rare. So yeah, our hit rates have been super solid. If we're going to open 14 packs and we've pulled, what, 3 illustration rares, that's one about every 5 packs. I mean, this is a very small sample size, so we can't generalize, but that is certainly, oh, and another one of those shiny, yeah, that is very cool. Yeah, this is really fun to open. I'm looking forward to opening more of it. But yeah, if you can get it for MSRP, open it. Try not to pay too much for these products. I know it's tempting upon release to just get your hands on it, but the hope is that these are going to be sets that are going to be masterable over time. So this is, oh, we have one more pack, so we got 2 more packs to go. Like I said, by the end of the day on release day, I did have the luxury of, being able to kind of run around to stores. I know not everyone has that, and if you were just like out on Saturday looking for cards, it might have been more difficult to find stuff. So, I'm on one hand, like I said, on release of a popular set, it's going to probably there's going to be a little bit of pain in trying to find it, but I really do hope in the longer run that they're going to print a lot of this and there's going to be enough to go around. So that if you do want to open it, you can. Again, keeping in mind that this is a special set, so there's not going to be booster boxes or individually sleeved packs, which is kind of a challenge because if you just want to rip a few packs, it is kind of a bummer that you have to buy, a big old collection box, that has a binder in it that you may or may not need, or a poster that you may or may not want. I think eventually the booster bundles will be coming out, and those are probably going to be your best bet. Again, the hope is that they print those into the ground so that there's a lot of options to get those. But I think booster bundles are probably going to be your best value. ETBs too, I mean, it's 9 packs, but the price on those, market price is probably going to stay kind of high. This is our last pack. Nothing there. All right, so we did pretty well, I think. No super crazy hits, but a lot of shininess happening, and I think this is going to be a really fun set. So let me know in the comments like how it has been for you finding these new sets. I'm going to open Black Bolt in a separate video, and we're going to try to open as much of this as we can reasonably get our hands on for good prices, and then from there we'll probably pivot to single buying. But good luck out there. Let me know your experience, and we'll have new videos coming at you really soon.